Don't be offended. This is Holi. It's the main rule of the famous Indian festival. After all, what's the point of being upset? It's a tradition to throw colorful powders and water-filled balloons at each other. However, for some reason, women are expressing their dissatisfaction. They even held a protest. But what exactly is it about this vibrant and colorful celebration that upsets the ladies? The issue lies in the fact that they are increasingly being targeted with balloons containing substances other than water. Some men fill them with urine and bodily fluids. In the year before last, around 40 girls complained about being hit with balloons filled with questionable content. It turns out that Indian men do this out of revenge. Holi was more than just a color festival for them a few years ago. Holi is a highly crowded festival. Of course, it's challenging to catch criminals during this busy period. Consequently, the crime rate is high, especially during this time. Unfortunately, the level of violent acts against women is also high. In 2017, during the Holi celebrations, a local farmer assaulted Irish tourist Danielle McLaughlin and then killed her to cover up the crime. Every year, after the colorful festival, dozens of reports of attacks are filed at police stations across India. Foreign women mostly make these reports, but everyone understands that local girls suffer just as much. They just remain silent. Therefore, the authorities have deployed a large number of police officers to monitor the festivities. There are now 25,000 police officers in Delhi alone. And this year, a new restriction has been introduced. The government has taken certain measures. In principle, the sale of these storage-capable balloons is prohibited a certain amount of time before the festival begins. In Delhi, they are simply banned. If you want to celebrate, here are some colorful powders. Aggrieved Indian men insist. Now, the festival is not like a festival. India is a country of festivals. Over 40 Hindu festivals are held here annually. But there are also Zoroastrian, Jain, Sikh, Muslim, and European festivals. In general, there is a festival every day. Visit India at any time of the year, and you'll find a festival somewhere. There are around 70 of them across the country. Almost all the festivals are religious, and some are not for the faint-hearted. Street masquerades, sports competitions, and church services are all part of it. At first glance, Onam, the harvest festival held annually in Kerala, looks fun and colorful. That is, until you witness the main ritual, the Teyyam dance. During their performances, the Teyyams may walk on embers and even burn themselves. That is, there are such variations of rather harsh movements and actions in relation to the body. However, it is all connected with the desire and striving to go through this path of healing. Indians believe that during the Teyyam, a person is not just cleansed, they almost become a deity. Women rarely receive this honor. It's not about traditions and stereotypes, it's about endurance. The god can only possess someone who resembles him. Therefore, one must dress in a bright costume and paint their face to resemble the god they wish to attract. For Teyyam dancers, it's not just a religious ritual, it's their moment in the spotlight. Most often, members of the lower caste, the Vanan, perform it. In everyday life, others barely notice them, but here they are praised and congratulated. Even people from higher castes try to shake hands with the dancers, despite their burnt skin. They believe they are touching a deity, not an outcast. The Bani Festival, held annually in the Indian city of Karnool, doesn't look like a festival at all. An unprepared tourist might think they've stumbled into the midst of a strike or protest. What else could explain the gathering of people armed with bamboo sticks, lathi, at the main city temple? According to legend, the Hindu legend, the god Shiva defeated the demons Mani and Malasura. These demons were hindering preachers and ordinary believers. So, the locals began praying to Shiva to save them from this demonic storm. Shiva took on the form of Bharata and, in this form, was able to defeat the two demons. It is believed that, in honor of the proclamation of the victory of good over evil, one must simulate a battle, so to speak, and organize a skirmish. Although this skirmish is ritualistic and festive, it differs little from the real thing. The principle is simple: hit or be hit. Festival participants do not spare each other with their strikes, so the local doctors have their work cut out for them. The medics are on duty at the temple all night long, along with the police, who try to calm the crowd. By the way, the law enforcement officers have proposed banning the festival on several occasions, but the believers say, "So what if it's a stick fight?" In the past, people fought with axes and spears during the festival. In India, the Uttarayana festival, which marks the winter solstice, hosts an international kite festival. People from all around participate, but it is a dangerous event with lives at risk. In the year before last, 6 people lost their lives, and a further 170 sustained injuries. But what accounts for this tragic statistic? Some fell from rooftops, but most were injured by the manji, a nylon thread coated with glass, which is attached to the kites. The tension, the very force of tension, is incredibly hazardous, especially for children who are running. The Indian authorities do not insist on banning these deadly threads. They seem to have more pressing issues to address. For several years, officials have been unable to decide what to do with the flowers and decorations that remain after the festivals. Under the Howrah Bridge, there is always a terrible crowd and a hunchback. It's no wonder. This is where Calcutta's largest flower market is located. They usually sell these bundles of flowers. Buyers examine them very carefully. It's a very beautiful bouquet of flowers, but they have no scent at all. No Indian festival is complete without its lavish display of bright blooms. Here, 2 million tons of flowers are grown each year to adorn temples, statues, and festival participants. Despite the apparent poverty of those around, vast fortunes are made here. This is because the flower trade brings in enormous profits. Growing and selling is only half the story. After the festival, the flowers must be disposed of somewhere. Local monks consider it sacrilege to throw them away in the landfill, so they feed some to cows and goats and discard the rest in the rivers. Religious Indians are convinced that flowers are a product of nature and will not harm the rivers. It's a matter of perspective. Not only are the petals treated with chemicals, but the flowers completely cover the water, leaving the fish with no air to breathe.